Running in at the absolute last moment.
Yeah, we're having kid problems. So that's all right. I'm here. We're good. All right. So we have been talking about a number of wow.
That's pretty exciting.
Look at that. That's kick butt.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that really glows in the black light.
Don't know. It's got me. Yeah.
Good night, guy. In case I was asleep by the time you.
Okay. Good night, love. So we were you were pointing out something about a streamer who has now been, her videos of her own music have been now taken down because of a DCMA complaint.
Yes.
And I actually was talking about how I had seen something on one of my streamers whom I hadn't seen in a very long time. And I found out why. And that was because he'd been hit with DCMA complaints about his shows. And that had put him on the low end of the shuffle. So he wasn't coming up on anybody's threads anymore. And hadn't been for a while because they were shadow banning him. So clearly, and what he was saying was, it's not actually the fault of the people. This isn't a thing that somebody is doing, which I have finally figured out. And I feel kind of bad because I was kind of rough with my words. But turns out that if we were to take this show, let's say, with the music playing in the background, and we were to copyright this show, the way it works is the algorithm then would write all of our music into copyright. And then if anybody else uses the music after us, then they will get struck. And as soon as they get struck, then they have to petition to us to get permission to do that, which could go through any number of channels. It could go anywhere. But the point is that what's happening is it's not the fault of the people. It's the fault of the algorithm. The algorithm is blindly slamming DCMA copyright complaints on people and pulling them out of circulation, even with absolutely legal and legitimate music. And it has all to do with whoever used the free, royalty-free music the first. Whoever first does it gets the copyright as far as it goes. And it will nail everyone else down the stream for it. That's what I've learned. And then it's up to, let's say, using our example, we copyrighted the music, let's say, or we didn't. We didn't do anything, by the way. This would be the algorithm just naturally doing that because we copyrighted our show, which would make some sense. We copyrighted our show, therefore it assumes that everything that's on here is ours and ours alone. And so it's the next person who then would have to protest to us, not to Facebook, to us. And it depends. I mean, like, where would it go? Where would this complaint go? Right? Where does it show up? Does it show up in your Facebook account? Does it show up in my Facebook account? Does it go to my email, which is attached to my Facebook account? If that happened in this case, my email that I use for Facebook is ancient. It's an ancient Hotmail account. It's so old, it comes literally from like 1998 or 99. So
basically, it is bad coding.
Right. It's super bad coding, which people are starting to get very angry about because it favors, of course, large corporations because they have an instant ability to, they've got 50 people manning all of their complaint departments. And so those complaints come through and they get them cleared up. But like, if you were to complain about us, it would go to my dead email. Well, it's not dead. There's nothing dead about the email. It's just that it's so old. The junk folder is aggressive, super aggressive. Because right now I get about 100 Nigerian princes emailing me every day. You know.
Wow.
Well, my junk folder is super, super aggressive. And it's just the way it goes. No problem. But it's really quick. And even with all of that aggressiveness, I accumulate about 150 to 200 emails a day in that email address now. And those are the ones that aren't killed by my spam folder. So I would never see it. If you really sent it to me, I would never see it anymore. I wouldn't see it. I mean, I'd mean well. I would mean very well. But going back, I'm sure that if I go back through my Hotmail, we may find that there are people who are right now requesting us to release their copyright claim, even as we speak. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's what's happening. This is what's going down. And it's happening to a lot of people. And so the person whom has had her own music, what has happened there was she put her music out as copyright free. Someone else used it, as we all do, for background music for their show, and then copyrighted their show, not her music. They were okay. They probably, just like we do, where we put everything in our end credits, that credits who's our music, and da-da-da-da-da-da, and all that stuff. They probably did everything correct. But YouTube then copyrighted her show, this other person's show, and then immediately nailed her because she didn't copyright hers, and then locked her out and removed the show. So this is becoming one of those things that's happening now more and more all over. And so that's what's happening. And
wow,
since no one is penalizing the companies and it doesn't make them any money to do anything otherwise than this, nobody's fixing it. So that's the way. That's what's happening, and that's what's going down, guys. If you're wondering what's happening out there, that's what's happening. The algorithms are out of control. I have been saying forever that the algorithms also, because they're automated, are doing the same thing about politics. Because they're designed to find things that are similar. And so if you're, right-leaning, then it will find something that's more right-leaning and then more right-leaning, and before you know it, you're watching videos about Flat Earth Society, like all the way down. And since people are good at, there are people out there who are super charismatic, can explain things and make logical connections that sound really good, it's very easy to see to each step sounds just a little bit interesting, a little strange, but you know what? I'm willing to accept that all the way down, which is why we have gone to this polar extreme, is because you're watching these algorithms move you just a fraction of a millimeter, just a fraction of a millimeter more, but it's getting to the point now where my friends on the right don't even make sense anymore. They start saying things that I'm like, that's not even logical. Somebody the other day said the reason liberals want us to all wear masks is because, the reason liberals are having a problem with the abortion thing doesn't make any sense, since they're the ones that don't want to wear masks. And I'm like, whoa, how did you get there? The liberals were the ones going for the masks, and now you're blaming them for not wanting to wear masks. And it's all because, they're starting to finally realize that wearing masks would have prevented a lot more deaths with COVID. So the narrative is trickling down that masks might have done something. And in response, the liberals didn't want us to wear masks. It was the liberals. You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. How did that happen? And it's because 1 millimeter at a time, they're being pushed to the right, further and further and further and further. And perfectly normal people are starting to get into really bizarre, and it's not just the right. I just can see the right easier because I'm on the left. That's all. I know it's happening on the left too. What the left is saying about the right is just as weird, and it's just as strange. And I've got to, whenever I say to the people, to my right friends, well, it's because you guys are doing X, Y, or Z. They're like, where in the world did you get that? It doesn't even make sense to them. So I know that that's what's going on. I know that these algorithms are out of control. I'm hoping that this becomes enough of a practical problem that people will now start to realize that all the algorithms are out of control. They're all out of control. And we're all going wonky weird, and we really shouldn't be. And maybe we should be a little bit more forgiving to each other's side and back off of the button of let's try to kill each other off in a civil war, which seems to be where we are aiming for and gunning for at the moment, because, of course, the liberals are trying to kill the world, and so are the conservatives, as we all know. Yeah, it's like these weird, where did you get this sort of stuff? So, anyway, there you go. That's my speechifying news report. That's my news report, all that's fit to print for today. You had another thing you wanted to talk about, which was fascinating.
So speed comicking.
Speed comicking. This is like Speed Racer, but with less ha 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 ha, which happened a lot in Speed Racer because of the dubbing.
So hacking your comic so you go even faster.
Because that's what we need.
Well,
you're going to change the fundamental basics of the universe by making one metric kn faster. You understand that, right? You're changing laws of physics.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying, look at the evil face that I've got right now. Evil face. There we go. It's even
so right now I am setting up ghost pages.
Okay. It's like Ghost Writers, except different.
Yes. Let's see, these are pages in which the frame is done, the text is done, it just needs to be inked.
Okay.
And this is all set up and ready to go for me to just go in and start inking it. And I am doing that for the entire comic.
Okay. What do we do? I don't mean to be mean, but what does that mean?
So, basically I'm going in and instead of doing one page and it takes me 8 hours to do one page, I'm going in and doing the entire comic at once. So I'm setting up these ghost pages where all the text is complete, all the frames are complete, so that when I start going in and build and actually sketching and doing the final art, each page is done. And so by doing everything at once, you are speeding up the time it takes to do a page. Because you'll go into jags where it's just bop, 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 done, bop, 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 done, bop, 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 done.
Like this?
Yes, but for the entire comic.
No, it was done in the entire comic. It just wasn't, the text wasn't put in. But I mean,
yeah,
all of
this is like going in and having all the text done.
Okay, so are you? And you're doing these as layers, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So
my layers are different than yours, but what happens is like you have the frames split out.
Yeah.
Do you have the text in there?
The only thing that's different is I don't have the text for the whole comic in. I'm going to do that last because then that way I can. I have done it both ways. For me, I have done this both ways where I put the text in first. there is a problem with the way that I do this. That's one of the drawbacks to the pre-pose thing. I'm limited by remembering where the hell everything was here, right?
Yeah.
I can't see the text bubbles here or here, so I can't actually see where the text bubbles are easily. So when I place the scene and I place the characters in the scene, I have a real hard time seeing where the text bubbles are. So I've done it that way, but then I end up having to do about 5 or 6 different renders of this until, rendered it. There. Nope. Then render this one and then, you know what I mean? Like I end up doing that kind of crap. So for me, what I do is I do all of the panels like this, and all the panels are in, and they're in on every page. So I've got them in, hang on, because we're not using this one anymore. I've got them in for everything, all the way down to, I'm trying to find, I mean, here's like the last page, right? So all the panels are in here for each one of these. And each panel comes with its own, you can't see it to the left, but here, let me maximize my screen temporarily. All of them have, over here on this side, they all have their individual frames already set up so that each one of these is its own layer with build inside.
Okay.
I'm not knocking what you're saying. I'm just trying to figure out how you're doing something different than what I'm doing. So, which is fine. You may not be.
So
You may be doing a version of
that's
that's faster. Oh wait, I'm going to let you have full page.
That's what I'm doing. So I'm going in there. I've already built the frames. I have put in the text, finalized the text, and I've set up all of the pages so that when I go back through and start inking the pages, I can just go onto an inking jag and just ink the pages.
Perfect.
So I'm setting up jags where I'm focusing on one thing, and I'm doing that one thing for the entire comic all at once.
I think you are doing what I should be doing if I wasn't using 3D models. As in, I think you're doing the right thing. Does that make any sense? Without me saying it condescendingly, I don't know how to say it without it sounding like, "Good job, Brian," and patting you on the head. But that's not what I'm after, obviously.
Basically, I'm doing the entire comic at once instead of as individual pages. Before I was doing individual pages where I was framing, doing the text, doing the finalized sketch and the tone in one shot.
And then moving on to the next page.
Yeah. So it would take me 8 hours to do one page.
Right.
This, I am hacking it so that I am doing the entire comic so that each page starts going faster. Because like Ryan Estrada, he was describing, he did 130. He like was doing a page an hour for a 130 page comic.
Yeah, that's the speed I can get to. I have to do these layouts like you're talking about, what would you call it, ghost paging. I have to do these layouts that way because otherwise I screw up. If I did it your way, we'd end up with a 32-page comic blowing up to be a 41-page comic really quick. Or worse, a 36-page comic, which can't actually be made, or a 37-page comic, which would be horrible. You know what I mean? Like, they because I know that I want to try to print it and it has to be in quads, it's very important to me to make sure that they are rigidly 32 pages. And so I can't afford, and what had happened was when I did it your way, which is not a bad way. There's nothing wrong with that. I have no self-control. So I know that I would just keep drawing. And you know what I need is just a little scene here with this. And real quickly, I'll just add this extra panel here. And before I know it, I'd have something weird, 37.3 pages in it. And then I'm going to have to figure out what to do about making my extra large sized comic, or go back through and even worse, have to cut pages out and just tear them out wholesale and try to tie 2 panels together that weren't close. So I've been doing this since the beginning, because once I put these panels in, I feel a duty to the panels. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I feel like I really shouldn't change the panels now, because they're in and it took a lot of effort to get them in there, and it was kind of a pain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of, I don't know. Does that make any sense? I guess that makes some sense. Anyway, I think you're on the right track. I think what you're doing is brilliant. Good job. And trying not to say it in a horrible, condescending way, which is what it all sounds like to me in my head. So I'm going to stop now and make music. I feel like I'm having a particular ADD moment where I can't find the correct words to say. And every time I try to say it, it's coming out sounding horrible to me in my head. And so I'm like, I need to just like settle in and stop. Quit while I'm a lot behind.
So the game had kind of an interesting ending to it.
Uh-oh. Okay.
It ended on a 2-way tie between 3 choices, with one choice being down by like 1 vote. I was looking at this and I was like, I see how this is going. If I choose one side, the other side will be pissed off because I didn't do their choice, even though the 2 sides won.
Mm-hmm.
If I went with both of them, I would end up with a useless poll, because it wouldn't matter. So it's like, so here's what I'm going to do. All 3 win. So I made it so that all 3 choices won. And then did a really big kind of outro for it. I sent it to you. It's in your Facebook feed.
I saw it. It's kind of cool.
And I like the way it turned out. It really turned out kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. I only didn't say anything because today's been kind of hectic, but that's okay.
Yeah, tell me about it. I had to go to the ER earlier today.
You had to go to the ER? You gotta stop going to the ER. They're gonna start doing your name.
Yeah.
Did you have to go to the ER because you were sick, or because your mom was sick, or did you just go there because you had to fill out paperwork?
I had to go there because I was sick.
You okay now?
Hopefully. They didn't find anything major, which is good.
Are you feeling better now?
Yeah.
What was happening? I mean, well, I guess I shouldn't ask you that on air.
Mm-mm.
Unless you want to speak on air, but I don't think you want to speak on air, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah, that's all good. Because your erectile dysfunction is not something... Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I would have left. I'm sorry. I'm so 12. I can't help it.
Yeah,
Sometimes
well, when you're shitting out blood,
Right.
that's not good.
When you explode terminally. So okay. Oh man, I am, like I said, sometimes I'm just ridiculously 12. I apologize. Or maybe he should be putting his hand up. Like, I mean, we're all people, but so he I went and made a special uniform for my dear friend here, good old Navin Cayman. You weren't here for this. We have decided his last name was too hard for me to remember. So we have changed his last name to Cayman. Because that's Brent's, it's like taking Brent's last name and kind of twisting it, but it also sort of sounds like your name. So sort of honoring the both of you in its own way.
Cool.
But it's Cayman, like Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
Random boobs. The funny part about doing stuff like this is it always ends up with things that you would never see drawing a scene, because you'd instantly compose it correctly. But then, because you're composing effectively like a cameraman is, you end up with the funniest things that you never really thought of.
Like, how do you mean?
Well, like I had Bennett's boobs in the background. Something that you wouldn't draw a character's face and then just the boobs of another character directly under her neck, because it would look weird. But since these people are physically standing in a physical space, it does mean that you have to think about that. So but it also means that I can do some logical things. Like Navin is now looking over at Mayrel, because his statement is, I was looking over her numbers and she's correct. Right? So I can make him tilt his head, like, as in, I was looking at her numbers, so now he actually is moved in the correct way, which I like. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So anyway, how's your weekend been other than ER visits?
It's been a weekend. I survived through somehow.
Surviving through. It's the way to do it, my friend. It's the way to do it. I love your idea, though. I hope that helps.
Well, we'll see what it does.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I feel like that will work. Where did you pick that up from, that technique?
I can send you the webpage to it.
Oh, yeah, I'm just wondering who the artist was.
Ryan Estrada.
Okay, cool. I think you even said it, because now that name sounds familiar. Kick butt. So the next thing I'm trying to figure out is these auto run doodly wops up here. Because I feel like we can use those up here. You see, yeah, I don't know if you, well, you can't see it because it's off the left side of me. There's a auto run feature of this that's, I'm curious as to whether we could exploit that. Sergeant Better Spec is in the way. I did get to watch a lot of Orville and watch For All Mankind, and I did catch up on all of those, which was good.
Cool.
So that was nice and exciting.
Sounds like you had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it was well, yeah, and I'm sad because I feel like Orville's not going to stand a chance, and I really feel like what's going to end up happening is that they're going to cancel Orville. I really do feel like that. And I'm upset about that because Orville's actually really solid. And I hate the fact that everybody's comparing it to Star Trek when they feel like we're getting double dose of Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like we're, Orville's Star Trek and Star Trek is Star Trek. And it's aggravating that they did Orville is better Star Trek. And then now Star Trek Strange New Worlds is much better than Discovery in everybody's eyes. So now it's, well, I guess Star Trek's finally gotten good Star Trek, so we don't need Orville anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that's what's going to happen. And so I'm very sad about that because I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but inevitably it does.
It does. It's just a shame because watching it, it was so good. Some of the stuff they're saying is so amazing. Like, I feel like even Star Trek, or even Orville's even taking riskier risks than Star Trek does, pushing even further into making statements and stuff. When in the first season they had an entire thing about transgender that was really cool and well done and well played, and now they revisited it this season and pushed it even further, and it was so good. It was painful. Like, really good. That doesn't mean that Strange New Worlds isn't. I feel like, it went really well there, and I'm just bummed. I feel like I should be keeping an eye on what I say. Because I feel kind of like I'm rolling off of script a little bit here.
What do you mean?
I keep saying things and then going, I don't know if I wanted to say that. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just going to go on ahead and apologize ahead of time for speaking stupidly if I do. And then that way, if I do, you will not decide you want to stop being friends with me. Not like I expected that would actually happen. In fact, what would really happen is you'd be like, dude, we got to talk. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway.
I haven't seen her. Do you want me to look for her? I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, that was short-lived.
I couldn't find the dog.
Did we find the dog?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Donald. You missed the money, but barely, huh?
Ah.
Was this the night of the big deal?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was rooting for him.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you too, bro. I was rooting for you like 3 weeks ago when we talked about it. That's so disappointing. I'm so sorry, man.
Did you have fun though?
Yeah, I guess that's really the important part. Excellent. Woo. Oh no. That's brutal, bro. So close.
Oof.
A weird chick going on. 200 people, that's fair. You played, as Picard would say, sometimes you can do everything right and still lose. That's not called unfairness, that's called life. And I agree with Picard. So that's a bummer. You did everything right. It's all right. We're still rooting for you. We still love you, man.
I'll be right back.
No problemo. Seems so very dramatic on this sort of rig. I'm like, I don't know. Move better spec over. Okay. Okay, done. No, I'm not really done. I'm never really done. Am I ever really done? Nah. Let's sit here and keep making beaky noises.
What's up?
I'm making beaky noises because the music's making beaky noises, so that's, me.
Ah.
No. Some of these poses just do some really weird crap to her. And it's just a Chang, and I'm not sure why. I mean, just Chang's maquette. Of course, that's not like that's the most important maquette or anything.
No, not at all.
So, of course, it works her maquette, not the other guys, just hers. What may end up happening is that I may have to do, I've been thinking about doing this anyway, doing static poses, building poses that, spend a couple of shows where all I do is just pose a maquette in different poses that I'd ever use in the show or during the book. Because I've got a lot of these poses that are pre-built from Daz, and they're like contrapposto or model poses, and that's not what people do. People never stand around with their hip tilted one way. You know what I mean? Like, it's designed for a specific sort of thing, and I'm just feeling like this is not working.
Yeah, but having some basic poses will just make your life easier.
I think so too, especially since I can't get her teeth to go back now that they're out here like this. It's like all I can do is control her head, and there's nothing I can do to fix the teeth part, and it's so weird. So I just have to accept it because it's stuck. It's locked. Whenever I do this, it's totally locked. It's pointed at none, but it's pointed at none with a variable of that. You know what that's about? It's so weird. so strange that her jaw does that. But only when I'm posing her. So I don't know what that's all about. That's right, we'll fix it. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I'm just gonna... Unfortunately, it does make her look like she's about to throw up. Blech.
From one angle.
Right.
From another angle, I was getting monkey. That she looked like a monkey because of the way the mouth was.
Right.
Either way, it's not appropriate.
Right. No matter what, it's not working like it's supposed to. And since it's a close-up, it's just going to be weird. And that's all right. Luckily, the point is really just to kind of give sort of a start as to where she is. And I can just draw it in, and I will. And before I forget, this is the last panel for this. No, I did it wrong. One of the most critical errors you can ever make. Crossing the midline. No, yes. You get to do the thing again.
There you go.
Actually, I kind of like this. This looks. Alrighty. Let's get in here. I'm actually going to redo this picture now before I get screwed up. How confident are you on your scripting?
pretty confident. Like I go back, as I'm working on the pages, I'm actually reading the pages
Right.
and seeing what's appropriate and what's not. So I'm actually editing my script as I'm writing it too. So that when I have a final page, I feel pretty good about the flow. And that's even happening here where I was reading the pages and what was trying to, and I actually realized I missed a page. I went back through and added it in. And so there's an entire scene that just got thrown out because I feel like what's happening here is way more important than that scene. Even though that scene is pretty important, it's not important as this.
Right. I'm wondering because for me, I am not confident about this part, so I don't put the dialogue in until I put all the pictures in for that reason as well. It's not the number. That's why.
No, the main thrust is this issue is the group coming together and becoming one.
A team.
So this is them realizing the threat and having to become a team. And I have it was actually the first scene that was built before any of this stuff came up. That was really I'm sorry. Chang's teeth coming out like that
are
is
really hard to deal with. I know. And I don't know what the story is or why it has to do this, but it's really messing with me too.
But I had this part that I wrote last month, and it was the first thing for this issue where the entire bunker was just about to go to war, and they were blaming Brig for what was going on because these unknown magic hurls came in and destroyed everything, and Brig wasn't there to stop it.
Right.
And then as I started writing this issue, I kept getting this feeling of, no, this is the issue where they have to come together because you have to get that emotional sense that they are now a team.
Right.
So I'm going to push that scene off with the bunker freaking out to next issue.
Right. That makes some sense. There, now she looks fine. And I had to do that as quickly as possible so I could dump that maquette because it was freaking me out. It's freaked me out so much. I'm going to go back in and fix it.
So I was looking at the live 2D stuff.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what live 2D is?
Nope, you're going to have to help me out here.
Okay, it's what VTubers use to make their avatars move in real time.
You don't really move them. It's like a distortion thing, so you just wiggle them. I've seen that one. Is that the same thing? You're like, no.
No. Like, they have entire rigging for how these things should move.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm thinking of Sakimi-chan. She does that a lot. Yeah.
I got to, let's see.
You know, find me an example.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was thinking about picking up Live 2D. And then I saw that.
Holy crap. That's
That
more
is
complex than mine.
that every dot you see there is a series of triangles for making the model move.
Yeah, I get that. It's effectively surface mapping in the same way that I do UV mapping.
Yes.
Get layers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's like, why does it cost several $1,000s to get a character model rigged? And then someone posted that.
Right.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, Donald, I'm with you. That's just layers. I don't even know what that's all about. All right. Okay. What the heck? All these things keep showing up here. Oh, hey. It's like memories from time long ago.
Memories.
Light the corners of my mind. Speaking of freaking maquettes, any maquette that is a Najor is a freaky maquette. They've gone plaid. They've gone to plaid. Just thinking about Najor, they get ejected into space. Their emergency recovery system is only as good as their consciousness, because they change the pigments on their skin to be in uniform. But if they go unconscious, they're just going to turn uniform gray. So all the little orange stripes that help you find them are going to all vanish. So they may have to come up with a plan B.
They have emergency lights attached to them.
Yeah, they'd have to hold on to something, like stick it to their bodies, glue it to themselves or something. Yeah.
It's glued onto them. It's like helicopter lights.
Yeah, exactly. They'd have to be glued on. You're right. Blue and the gray. Right. Thanks. Not being helpful. So I did load finally Adobe on here, and as soon as I did, things did start slowing down. However, that SSD did do what Brent promised, and we've gone from 11 seconds to posting to 33 seconds to posting. That's still not bad. I can wait 33 seconds for my computer to come online. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So All right, Ensign, bring us about. No, that wasn't what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Set to chase, angle 0, up angle, 0 degrees up angle, 180 across the ecliptic. Set, throw the ball at 15 Gs and press to 2.25 C. All of that actually makes sense to the logic of this story. That's kind of wild, actually. Okay. I am now going to do what you were like, hey, do you do this? And I'm like, no, but now I'm going. So there. Before I ink all this crap in, I'm going to go in here and write all this text out. Yeah, because that's what I thought. I don't know if I have a lot of room for all this jabber jabber. Six point, that's why. Not 16 point. And the technobabble sounds cooler in my story. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Zero, 9, 0. Set to chase. 0 degrees up angle. 090 across the ecliptic. We should make that a lowercase c since we are talking about salinity.
Something. What is salinity?
So speed of light. That's the
Gotcha.
tech word for it. So 0.25 salinity is 25% the speed of light. Right? Hypotheneous. Right. So the ball is the black hole they throw in front of the ship. And it's set to throw the ship or make the ship fall at 15 Gs. So that's going to be its acceleration rate. And press to 0.25 C means they're going to press the ball, and the ball will continue until they're at 0.25 the speed of light, at which time the ball will turn off, and they will just coast until they get near moment, at which time they'll throw the ball behind them and then effectively drag the ship.
Hey, Guy.
Yar.
Check Facebook.
Check.
Specifically, Agents of Draw.
Facebook. Agents of your mom. Gotcha. What am I reading?
About him having his Wacom tablet and computer and wanting to join virtually.
Oh. You mean here? Okay. Standing by. There's a lot of people not doing good on there. Houston hit 105 degrees Fahrenheit today. Holy cow.
That's one or two.
Yeah. Hey, that sounds like
Hey.
Ruda.
Hey.
Hey, friend. How you doing, Garuda?
Let's reorganize
Fine.
everything. Get all of us onto the same square here. Are you joining us from way on the other side of the world?
Yeah. As you can see, or driving on the left side.
you in Japan?
I'm not actually driving right now. I got the
Which is good.
I got the link, but I went to visit my mom in the hospital. I had to sign some forms. But now I'm sitting on the side of the road because the taxi driver actually got pulled over because of his some problem with his brake light.
Oh, okay. So you're
And he's dealing with the cops right now.
so you're like, since we're stopped, this is a live report from India or from I just lost it.
Yeah, no, I have my desk and everything set up at home, but I'm not at home right now, so
Yeah, and by the time you get home, it'll be midnight here, so we usually kill the stream at midnight. However, 9 hours from now, we'll be on the stream again, and you can join us then too if you want.
Oh, sure.
From your desk. That's totally acceptable as well.
Yeah, and then I can actually join with my with my drawing.
But it's cool to have you joining us anyway from like the random street of somewhere in India.
Yeah.
That cracks me up no matter what. Like someday I will tootle back to Japan, and when I do, I promise to call into the show so that I can do the same thing.
I did like the thing about the gas station food being better than the entirety of Denver.
Oh yeah, well that's true in
Yeah.
too. Gas station combini food was better.
All right. Okay, I gotta pay his fine.
Because his light was out.
I guess so. Oh, he needed some change, so I was like, why do I gotta pay your ticket? That's like, you didn't fix your tail light.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, this is the second time I've been in the car. Like, I've gotten a speeding ticket once, and I was like, I asked the police, I was like, where the hell is this, like the speed limit signs, you know?
Right. Bargain down, says Donald. Donald saying bargain. That's funny.
Yeah.
We have live
But I mean,
now where we're all like live trying to help you out over there. It's very entertaining.
anyways, I'll just watch what you guys are doing.
That's
wanna
totally
disrupt
fine.
Yeah.
Well, now I kind of want to know how this plays out. So, you got to stay with us so that we can figure out what the heck's going on.
Oh, well, I think it's settled now, so I don't know if it was an actual fine or a bribe, but whatever they had to ask him they made him pay, so.
Yeah.
I am behind you. Don't let me startle you.
Yeah, I'm glad you. So Garuda is in India,
Hi.
and he was having fun with his taxi getting pulled over, and so either the taxi driver paid a bribe or a fine, we don't know. But whatever happened, something happened. So it's very entertaining. So we're like trying to figure out how this is all going to play out. So he's like, I don't
I
know.
know you do, but I want you to leave Dove alone so she can have dinner.
So George is being a pest and attacking Dove, and that's what happened here. Oh yeah, thank you, Ruda. You turned it landscape. I appreciate that actually.
Okay.
So Although this is always one of my I love modern technology moments, because you are literally on the other side of the planet calling into this show. I think that is so cool, and I don't know why that makes me so happy, but it does. Like, I'm always like ridiculously geeked out about whenever. I mean, like, you were sending me all of those pictures also of the Dreamliner, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I was in the middle of a meeting with the con chair for NDK, and I'm like, oh god, it's a Dreamliner, and she's like, oh what? And I'm like, I'm just geeking out about a plane. She's like, you can geek out. I understand you well. So she let me geek out over the pictures for a while there.
Speaking of the Dreamliner, it was kind of interesting because the Dreamliner from the Denver to Newark flight was very different from the same United Dreamliner to India. I think it's like the domestic, they're like more compressed, so they had a lot more rows. So it was interesting comparison.
I had that same experience because I took a 777 to LAX, but then I took another 777, a Singapore Air 777, over to Japan, because this was before the other runway was fixed here, so they didn't have internationals going out of Denver. So at that point in time, it was the same thing. It was really weird. It was like that 777, the first 777 was like what you'd expect, being a flight from any domestic flight, packed to the gills, and everybody was like, I just thought that was weird. So I was like, aren't these all international? I mean, isn't that the point of the 777s?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, especially with the Dreamliner, I'd never been on a, like a 2-aisle plane on a local flight, within the U.S. Maybe to like Hawaii or something. But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that is kind of wild. But either way, I really appreciated the pictures of the Dreamliner, and I knew you would. I just think that you got all kinds of things going on now, don't you?
Yeah, that's, I think, a VIP with a police escort.
Yeah, probably. But it's, yeah, I was like, you know me well, Garuda. You know me well. I'm all interested in your aircraft. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share if I go on another cool plane like an A380 or something like that. I'll definitely share with some.
I took a 380 back from Frankfurt. That was pretty cool. So we were on a 380 all the way back from Frankfurt. That was awesome. So yeah, I hope you get a 380.
I went on a 340 600 to last time I went on Lufthansa to Munich, I think, and it's the only plane I know that has like a stairs going downstairs,
right?
To, like the cargo hold level, and then it's got like a bunch of bathrooms down there. But I think that was, I'm not going to be able to get on one of those again. I think they discontinued using those.
Yeah, because they don't want you down in the cargo hold unless in case you're gonna put a bomb or something down there.
Yeah, no, but I think it's because it's got 4 engines and.
Yeah, that's way small. They're not as fuel efficient. You're right.
Yeah, so because I think that was like right before the pandemic started, and like during the pandemic, I saw that they were discontinuing them.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All the cool airplanes, they're gonna eventually, they're all getting discontinued. All these now fuel efficient Neos and Maxes and whatever.
It's true. There is a certain amount of that. That is true.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to start using hydrogen.
That could be a thing.
Which is what they're gonna have to do. It's
yeah.
somehow or other they're gonna have to find an alternative sooner or later. Because right now everything's really expensive.
Yep. That's true. Even your taxi ride's expensive.
Oh yeah, it's certainly, yeah. It was like double, of what it was just a couple years ago.
Yeah. Can only imagine. Hey, did you get to see your kids though? You got to see your kids and everything?
Oh yeah, no, they're like so happy to see me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they're
the general rule is that we don't usually say the kids' names on air. So just so you're aware, for their safety.
Sometimes the art partner can't remember that.
Yeah, although sometimes my partner can't seem to remember that part. So
I have a hard time.
She's commenting from the other room. She has a hard time remembering that. Oh, we lost Garuda.
Oh no!
Doesn't surprise me. He's somewhere in India and he's just tootling around. So does not in fact surprise me that we lost him. He'll come back.
Are you back?
Oh, you're back. He's back.
Maybe, maybe not. I can't tell.
Can't either. Can you hear us, Garuda?
Garuda, are you still there?
I feel like we've lost him. Maybe. Oh, well, I see video, but I can't hear him. Can you hear us? Nope, we lost him.
Nope, we lost him.
It's just such an abuse of technology. I love it. I love it so much. It is so cool to have Garuda just randomly calling in. So for those of you at home, Garuda is another member of our QuaCk Collective people. He just usually is at the in-person meetings. But as we were just discussing, his family lives in India. And so he's over there right now, of course, hanging with his family and stuff, which is awesome. But then he called in, which is so cool. It's so ridiculous. I love it so much. And I'm a geek, and I admit it. It's funny, you were doing that comic about modern sci-fi, or you showed me that comic about modern sci-fi versus old school sci-fi.
Yeah.
And though it is very true, it also, I like this part though. Like, I don't dislike this. I like this super detailed stuff.
Yeah, but it's definitely a thing of modern sci-fi where everything has to fit.
Right.
And has to have an explanation.
Yeah, everything has to be hyper realistic. Luckily, this fits my, spectrum-y desire to be super detailed about everything. You know what I mean? And so this fits my already existing need to be super detailed and be super accurate, which is like an offshoot of OCD in a lot of ways. So when you posted it, I'm like, you're not wrong. On the flip side, I really, really feel a desire and a need to be like this. Because the tech makes me happy.
Yeah.
I feel bad, though, for the sci-fi artists that just want to just tell an old-fashioned sci-fi yarn, And you're right, they can't. They have to be all detailed, or people call them on it, or whatever. Yep, some countries bribes are part of the culture. Luckily, the countries I tend to be involved in, that is not true. Although I fear that someday that will be true here. Well, I am kind of amazed that we've managed to avoid bribes. I mean, we are one of the few countries that requires tipping and stuff like that. So, Ormna sells that wind up. You just put a little key in the back. Tick 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 tick, and it goes. Brrr.
Well, it is almost midnight.
It is. We got about 2 minutes left. This is a tough page. Because it's that page where we've got things moving and people going places. All right. I think we are pretty much at the end of this.
Yeah.
And then I will head to bed as well. I feel like that's a hug-ish. I feel like it's a weird hug.
I told them to speak in the camera about it.
That works. It worked. Although I'll be done here in 1 minute. So if you can wait 1 minute, I can give you a real hug. Like a normal human hug.
Why do you have only one step on?
Right? I mean, why would you ask for that? And we will work on this one tomorrow. These are the days of our space clocks. So I did the math on this, and it's not going to even be negligible, even at 0.25C. Time dilation is like 6 or 8 minutes. So it's not a big deal. Not like I think you guys are really concerned about that, but I did the math on it. Okay. Well, guys, I think we're out. I'll see you tomorrow. Brian, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
So I'm going to go ahead and roll. Yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye, Donald. Thanks for joining me. Bye.